Ladies and gentlemen, you may be going through a storm right now, a season of uncertainty, a time where things don't make sense. Maybe life has hit you with something you didn't see coming. You were doing your best, staying faithful, working hard, and suddenly a storm showed up. The job ended. The relationship fell apart. The medical report wasn't good. And now you're wondering, why would this happen to me? But I want to remind you today, storms don't come to destroy you. They come to define you. Every storm you face carries within it a hidden blessing. Something you can't see in the chaos, but something God is using to strengthen, refine, and position you for greater things. The same God who allowed the storm will use it to push you into your purpose. So don't curse the storm. Learn to look for the blessing hidden inside it. There are moments in life when everything seems to be moving in the right direction. You've made your plans, your dreams are unfolding, and it feels like everything is finally falling into place. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, a storm hits. The doors that once opened easily now slam shut. The people you counted on walk away. The opportunities you thought were guaranteed disappear overnight. And you're left wondering, what happened? Why did this change so suddenly? It's in those moments that we must remember, not every storm is meant to destroy. Some are meant to redirect. Sometimes God allows the winds to blow, not to blow you away, but to blow you into the right direction. You see, you were never meant to stay in one place forever. God is a God of movement, a God of purpose, and often, the only way He can move us toward the next season of our destiny is by allowing a storm to shift our course. When Jonah ran from God's plan, a great storm came upon the sea. Jonah thought it was a disaster. But that storm wasn't sent to punish him. It was sent to redirect him. The wind and the waves were God's way of saying, "You're going the wrong way. I have something better for you." Jonah couldn't see it then, but the storm was the very thing that carried him back into God's will. Sometimes the greatest mercy God shows us is a storm that stops us from going the wrong direction. Maybe that's what your storm is doing. You thought that relationship was the one, but it ended abruptly. You thought that job was your forever career, but it closed unexpectedly. You thought that plan was perfect, but it fell apart. Don't be discouraged. The storm didn't come to end your journey. It came to reroute it. That closed door is not rejection, it's redirection. It's God saying, "I have something better in mind." We often pray, "God, open doors for me." But we forget that sometimes, before He opens the right door, He'll have to close the wrong ones. And closing doors can feel like a storm. It hurts, it confuses, it shakes your faith. But those closed doors are God's protection in disguise. What looks like loss is actually love steering you toward what you truly need. Think about the Israelites leaving Egypt. When Pharaoh changed his mind and chased after them, they ended up trapped between the Red Sea and an angry army. It looked like they were doomed. But God used that very storm of panic and pressure to redirect them toward a miracle. He parted the waters and made a way where there was no way. What looked like a dead end was really a divine detour. Sometimes you'll only see God's power when you've run out of your own options. When the storm strips away your plans, that's when His purpose becomes clear. You may not understand it now, but the storm that feels like a setback is the very thing positioning you for something greater. If that relationship hadn't ended, you wouldn't have found peace. If that job hadn't closed, you wouldn't have discovered your calling. If that plan hadn't failed, you wouldn't have learned to depend on God. Every disappointment, every delay, every detour, it's all part of a bigger design. The key is to stop fighting the wind and start trusting it. When the wind changes direction, don't panic. Adjust your sails. God knows exactly where He's taking you. The same wind that seems to be pushing you off course is the wind that will carry you to your purpose. It's not rejection, it's redirection. It's not the end, it's the beginning of something new. So when life changes suddenly, don't assume it's all falling apart. Maybe it's actually falling into place. The storm is not the evidence that you're lost. It's proof that God loves you too much to let you settle. You're being moved from where you were comfortable to where you'll be complete. And one day when the wind's calm and the sky's clear, you'll look back and say, if that storm hadn't come, I never would have found this path. What you thought was a detour was actually destiny in disguise. Trust the storm. It knows the way home. When you're in the middle of a storm, it's easy to feel like everything is falling apart. The wind is howling, the rain won't stop, and the waves just keep crashing against you. You pray, but it feels like your prayers are hitting the ceiling. You try to stay strong, but every day seems to bring a new challenge. You look around and wonder, why is this happening? What did I do wrong? Why does it feel like my life is spinning out of control? But what if, just what if, that storm isn't working against you? What if it's working for you? What if the very thing you're asking God to take away is the thing He's going to use to lift you up? So often, we think storms come to destroy us, but in reality, they come to develop us. They are not there to push you down, but to push you forward. Sometimes, the only way God can get you to your destiny is through the wind and the rain. You see, if life were always sunny and smooth, you would never discover what's inside you. You'd never find out how strong your faith really is. You'd never see God's power at work in your weakness. The storm is not a sign that God has left you. It's a sign that He's preparing you for something greater. When you look at people who have gone far in life, people who are successful, peaceful, full of faith, you'll find one thing in common. They've been through storms. They faced seasons where it didn't make sense. They've endured times when all they could do was trust God. And through those storms, they grew. They became who they were meant to be. The truth is, you learn far more in the storm than you do in the calm. The sunshine may make things grow, but it's the rain that brings the harvest. You can't have new growth without a little rain. You can't have strength without a little pressure. And you can't experience a miracle without facing something impossible first. Sometimes, God allows a storm because He knows there's something greater on the other side. You may think, this setback is ruining my life. But what if it's really setting you up for something you couldn't see coming? That closed door you cried over might have been the very thing protecting you from a bigger disappointment. That person who walked away may have been keeping you from the next level of your destiny. That layoff may have been God's way of freeing you for a better opportunity. You see, storms have a way of shaking things up, not to destroy your life, but to remove what doesn't belong. When the winds blow, things that were never meant to stay are forced to leave. You may lose some friends, but that's okay. They weren't part of your next chapter. You may lose some comfort, but that's okay. You're being stretched for something bigger. You may feel like you're losing control, But maybe that's the point. Maybe God is asking you to let go of control so He can take the lead. Sometimes we get so comfortable where we are that we stop growing, we settle. We think this is good enough. But God loves you too much to let you stay in good enough. He'll stir things up to move you toward more than enough. The storm may look like it's against you, but it's actually God's way of pushing you into your destiny. Think about a bird learning to fly. It's easy to stay positive when everything is going right. When the bills are paid, the people around you are supportive, and life feels calm. But the real test of faith comes when the winds begin to blow, when the pressure builds, when life doesn't go according to your plan. That's when what's inside you is revealed. Storms don't just come to shake the outside. They come to show you the strength that's been hiding on the inside. You never really know how strong you are until you've had to be strong. You don't discover the depth of your faith until it's been tested. It's in the storm that your true character, your endurance, and your faith come to light. God doesn't send storms to expose your weakness. He allows them to reveal your strength. The disciples once panicked in the middle of a storm while Jesus was asleep in the boat. The waves crashed, the winds howled, and they were terrified. But when they woke him up, Jesus stood and said, "Peace, be still." Instantly, the storm calmed. Then he turned to them and asked, "Where is your faith?" He wasn't rebuking them for being afraid. He was reminding them that the same peace that silenced the storm was already inside them. They didn't need to panic. They needed to believe. When life gets hard, the same question applies. Where is your faith? Do you let fear lead, or do you let faith rise? Because what's inside of you is greater than what's against you. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead lives in you. That means you have a power that storms can't break, winds can't move, and waves can't drown. Every storm is a mirror. It reflects what's happening inside your heart. If you find yourself anxious, angry, or afraid, that's okay. It's not to condemn you, it's to help you grow. The storm reveals what still needs to be strengthened. It's like refining gold. The heat doesn't destroy it, it purifies it. In the same way, the storms of life refine your faith, burning away doubt and fear, leaving behind something pure and stronger. Sometimes, God allows the storm not to test your faith, but to teach you when we look back over our lives, we realize that the storms we once feared the most were the very seasons that shaped us the most. They taught us to trust when we couldn't trace God. They reminded us that faith isn't about having calm seas. It's about knowing who controls them. Every storm carries within it a hidden blessing. The winds may rage, the rain may pour, and the waves may rise, but nothing can shake the hand of God holding your life together. What looks like chaos to you is divine order to Him. What feels like delay is His preparation. What feels like loss is often His way of making room for something greater. So don't let the storm make you bitter. Let it make you better. Don't let it harden your heart. Let it strengthen your faith. You may not understand what God is doing right now, but one day, when the clouds clear, you'll see that every gust of wind was blowing you closer to your purpose. The storm didn't come to destroy you. It came to reveal you, to refine you, and to redirect you. God doesn't waste pain. He doesn't allow storms without purpose. He uses every season, the good, the bad, and the uncertain, to prepare you for the blessing ahead. So hold your head high. Keep your heart steady. Speak faith even when the winds roar. Because beyond every storm lies a sunrise, beyond every tear lies a testimony, and beyond every test lies triumph. The blessing is not just waiting for you after the storm. It's being built within you through it. You are coming out stronger, wiser, and more favored than before. The storm was never your enemy. It was your escort into the next level of your destiny. Trust the process, hold on to your faith, and remember the blessing was hidden in the storm all along.